Your Honor, opposing counsel, members of the jury, it was his choice. Today we heard the story of the defendant, a casino owner who chose to bribe a public official. On April 16, 2015, the defendant invited the head of the gambling commission to his own casino to give him a $200,000 bribe. Members of the jury, and today's case may be different than what you were expecting, because the defendant has already admitted to bribing the commissioner. What today's case was about was blame. The defendant is now trying to blame an undercover officer for the actions that he took. Members of the jury, the undercover officer simply presented the defendant an opportunity to show his true colors, and he did. The defendant chose to bribe a public official. And that's why we're here today. As the state, we have a burden of proof in today's case. We had to prove to you that the defendant had a predisposition to commit a crime, and we had to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, all this means is as you are listening to all the testimony and the evidence that came out in today's trial, you cannot have any doubts based upon your own common sense or reason. Members of the jury, when I say predisposition to commit a crime, that simply means that was this defendant willing to commit this crime before Officer Keenan ever showed up, before Officer Keenan started investigating, and did Officer Keenan pressure him into making this crime? Members of the jury, we have proven that beyond a reasonable doubt, because today we called 3 witnesses before you. First, we called Officer Keenan himself. He took the stand today, and he told you about his investigation. He told you that he only started investigating Mr. Bancroft when he overheard a conversation. I'm putting together a proposal, and I would like to grease the wheels. Officer Keenan told you that this was one of his red flags. He wasn't hoping that Bancroft would call. He wasn't trying to see if Bancroft was going to do anything illegal. He simply opened up an investigation. He gave the defendant an opportunity to show his true colors, and he did. He bribed the commissioner. Members of the jury, our second witness, Dr. Warren, came up before you. He told you about the best practices that undercover officers should use while he is undercover. And he told you that throughout the investigation, Officer Keenan complied with those best practices. He used open-ended questions. He dropped hints. And members of the jury, Officer Keenan did his job the way he was supposed to conduct an undercover operation. So lastly, we call it Devin Del Sesto. Devin Del Sesto told you about the events in the casino leading up to the bribe. Members of the jury, I want you to pay close attention to a conversation that you overheard on February 16th. Members of the jury, throughout today's trial, it has been said that Mr. Bancroft did not meet Mr. Keenan until March 31st. So a month and a half before the defendant ever meets the undercover officer, what does he say? February 16th, he's on his phone. I'm putting together my proposal, and I just want to get it done. If you are for sale, I'm willing to pay the price, whatever it is. From February 16th, he already had his mind made up that to get his proposal through, he would simply take the easy way out, pay it off, pay it off. Members of the jury, today, and through those 3 witnesses, we have proven to you a predisposition. And members of the jury, the defense also called 3 witnesses before you. Defendant, and he came before you, and he told you about a conversation that he had on April 15th. And Bancroft actually told Chase Covington, I don't think so. We've been doing this kind of thing for a long time. And there's no need for a middleman. I mean, it doesn't take Mickey to clue me in that sometimes you have to get your hands dirty in Midlands. Members of the jury, he already admitted that he's been doing this type of thing to Chase Covington a long time. That is your predisposition right there, members of the jury. We have proven our burden to you. Now, defense, they came before you and they raised an affirmative defense of entrapment. They're trying to say the defendant was entrapped by Officer Keenan to make this bribe. But members of the jury, that evidence does not support it. Because today, the defendant came before you. And I don't have to convince you that he wasn't entrapped because he said so himself. He said on April 16th, I had two options. One of them was to bribe the commissioner. I asked him what he did that day. He said, I filled a briefcase full of $200,000. I proceeded to the meeting, and guess what, members of the jury? The person that he was supposed to bribe, he wasn't there. Opportunity to walk away. His choice was to go and seek out Chase Covington. So with that $200,000, he doesn't put it back in the safe. He goes down to his VIP room and he finds Chase Covington. Members of the jury, he actually told you today, I made another effort to convince him that my proposal was the best. His own attorney asked him, then what happened? He said, I couldn't, so I gave him the money. Members of the jury, in that moment, he had two choices, to walk away or to give a bribe. Mickey Keenan wasn't there. Mickey Keenan didn't tell him to bribe him. It was simply a conversation between Chase Covington and Mr. Bancroft. And in that conversation, Mr. Bancroft said, I couldn't convince him to vote for my proposal, so I bribed him. No one told him to. Mr. Keenan wasn't there to say, you have to. He didn't threaten him. He didn't say that I was going to take away the Black Bear Casino. Members of the jury, that was a private conversation between Chase Covington and Mr. Bancroft. In that moment, he made his decision. He chose to bribe a public official. No one entrapped him to do so, members of the jury. That is why we ask that you find Mr. Bancroft guilty for the actions that he took. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harris.